Hey everybody, Alex Newman coming to you live again from the Red Pill Expo here on Jekyll Island. With me is a young man who just gave a phenomenal speech, the Ice Age farmer. His name is Christian Westbrook, and he knows more about the threat to our food supply and the way that the establishment is using this to bring us under control than just about anybody I've ever met. Christian, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, Alex. I'm thrilled to be here.
It's awesome and wonderful work you've been doing. So tell us a little bit about the threats to our food supply. What are they doing to our farmers, to our ranchers? What's the agenda here?
Sure. So farmers and ranchers have been under economic attack for a long time, but part of, it's been a fantastic weekend. We've heard all about the transhumanist agenda, the technocrats who are imposing it upon us. But one area that I think has been neglected is the fact that they're taking over the food supply as well. And you can see this in a number of ways. They're rolling forward. The UN describes how we need to push people onto insect-based proteins, get them to stop eating meat because it's bad for the environment because of cow farts. We've seen the case be made for years now, but as many agendas rolling forward in 2020 with all of these things, so too is this food agenda. And so what's happening right now is that they're making the case through the media and in fact through the pandemic, attaching that to the bat market. Even though we've all heard about where the genesis and it was an artificially engineered virus, all of these things, they're sticking with that narrative that this came from the bats and the food markets because they want to tag it to the food. And there's also a document, it's not the only evidence of this, there's also a document that was just released by the Rockefeller Foundation entitled Reset the Table, which is sort of a tip of the hat, as you might imagine, to the Great Reset. This is all tied together, right? And so resetting the table means that its subtitle is how to seize this opportunity, seize the moment to transform the U.S. food system. And in it, they announce much of the things that flow down from those UN agendas that we need to, that farming and ranching is antiquated, that it's bad for the environment, it's bad for public health. They assert that they're sort of do a mea culpa, like, oh, sorry, Rockefeller medicine has for decades now been saying that it doesn't matter what you eat, that nutrition is not important. But we were kind of wrong. It turns out it does matter. And now that we have medical martial law because of the pandemic, we need to extend that scope to food. And so we're going to, in the name of public health and preventing future pandemics, we're going to take over, we're going to extend this to food as well. And so old farms and ranches are dirty and antiquated, and we're going to use targeted investment to fuel these new cricket farms and cockroach farms and all these things over here, even as we impose something that the Rockefeller Foundation calls true cost accounting, whereby they make the case, and literally there was a University of Sheffield study that came out a couple weeks ago indicating get this, Alex, sheep farmers can make more money if they stop farming sheep and just collect carbon offsets. Now this doesn't make any sense in real economic terms whatsoever, right? There's nothing being produced, yet capital is being exchanged. But in the minds of the technocrats, and if we allow them to impose their technocratic reality upon us, then they can do that. They can just jigger everything around so that farmers are, they're just starting to chip away at all human activity and specifically at the food system, and it's stunning.
It is. And, you know, the phrase, let them eat bugs comes to mind. It's
Well said.
absolutely terrifying. I will not eat bugs, globalist. So, you know, in the last few minutes that we have left, Christian, you know, I've noticed, and this is going to be the next topic for a big series I'm going to be working on. I like to investigate things thoroughly. I've noticed that there is a war on farmers and ranchers and producers, not just in America. I mean, it takes slightly different forms, but it's happening in South Africa, it's happening in China, it's happening in Brazil. Different pretexts, different excuses to shut down the farms, but we see it's a global operation. How will getting control of the food supply, the food production, you know, putting everything under the control of huge corporations, or in the case of some governments, you know, communist dictatorships, how will that enable them to more effectively control the population?
Well, Henry Kissinger told us it's control food and you control the people. It's a very direct link because we all depend on food every day. We eat every day. And so that is a very real dependency on the establishment to maintain our nutritive needs. There's also the quote from that says, diet, Bertrand Russell says, diet, injections, and injunctions will conspire to create the kind of individual that the state can do whatever they want to, and they won't even be able to psychologically resist us. And diet is a key phrase there. So these two quotes, I think, are pretty clear indicators that food is absolutely seen as a lever to control people and to impose these agendas. And yeah, the goal here is to engineer food shortages whereby people can be made to accept this food 2.0, this new bug-based insect protein and indoor-grown food, synthetic meats that are cell-cultured meats. It's really pretty stunning what's out there. But this was all predicted by a guy named the Earl of Birkenhead. Back in 1929, he wrote, believe it or not, he wrote a piece in Cosmo magazine that said in 100 years, and he made some predictions, including that farming would be nothing more than a rich man's hobby, that agriculture, if not completely abolished, would be in severe decay. And so this has been a long-standing agenda of the technocrats, and yeah, it's stunning.
Wow, that's incredible. So what do we do to resist, and how can people find you? Give us your website, you know, tell us the best way to keep track of what you're doing. And I know one of your things is, you know, solutions. How can people follow you to learn what to do to stop this?
Yeah, thanks for that. You can find me at iceagefarmer.com, and my chief recommendations are, I think, the only rational responses to people that are trying to use food as a weapon. Start growing your own food, learn about permaculture and regenerative systems that allow you to produce lots of food in even not that much space, and then spreading the word, because I don't have a silver bullet, Alex. I don't know how we can do something overnight that gets us out of the situation, but I do imagine that if everybody were aware of what was going on, then a lot of these agendas would just stop tomorrow because we just wouldn't put up with it. So that's why I keep the emphasis on spreading the word.
Excellent. Christian, thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for speaking here. Thank you for being here at the Red Pill Expo. It's been phenomenal. Folks, you heard it, iceagefarmer.com. If you're not growing your food yet, you better start soon. Hey, guys, it's important. These people are not messing around. You know, if I had told you 9 months ago they were going to lock down the planet and make you wear a diaper on your face, you would have said I was crazy. Folks, the food stuff, it's coming. It's dead serious. Get busy. Go to iceagefarmer.com. I'm Alex Newman. This is the Red Pill Expo. We're coming to you live from Jekyll Island, and stay tuned because we've got a whole lot more for you. Thanks, guys.